Terry Lamb taking the Sydney Bulldogs out. Third last match in the Winfield Cup of 1995. Canterbury Bankstown or Sydney Bulldogs, take it which way you like. Of course, they're looking pretty comfortable with their run-in against the Crushers and the Cowboys. And that's their team. Silver, Dallas, Timu, Hughes, Halligan, Lamb, Polomounta, Britt, Hetherington, Pay, Ralph, Gillies and Dimmock. Chris Anderson, the coach, and Darren Britt. They're very fine forwards along with Dean Pay. In a topsy-turvy year, though, for Dean since the Kangaroo Tour. We're looking to him tonight, though, for all of his expertise with no Jason Smith in the side. And the Auckland Warriors, well, of course, this is it really for them, because given they have to play Canberra and Brisbane, then tonight they can ill afford to lose. Dean Bell takes them out. A very big contingent of Kiwis are in at Parramatta Stadium. Not meaning that the crowd is overly large, but a lot of Kiwi people here to watch their side go round at the, or should I say 7 days after their shock loss to St George. Namu, Hoppy, Bell, Blackmore, Kerwin, Alexander Jones, Hill, Eru, Platt, Betts, Kearney, and Tuamavave, coached by John Money. So time on. Auckland battling for survival in the last Winfield Cup. Second tackle on the first use of the football for Auckland. Andy Platt. Now Betts. English contingent firmly entrenched at Auckland these days, and a penalty. Breaking it out as the ruling, and I fancy the call came from the touch judge.
Yes, Eddie Ward missed this incident here. Jason Hetherington involved over the top in the tackle, and the little hand there reefing that ball out.
And it wasn't a great deal of ball security shown by Dennis Betts.
No, he had no security, and I don't think Hetherington meant to take it out. There's a high tackle.
Penalty will go to the Aucklanders. The tackle player resenting the tackle, and well he might. Tony Tuamavave, the man hit high by the Dean Pay tackle.
When we had the camera on Dean Pay at the beginning of this game, you could see that he was having a word to his teammates. He was very keen to make sure that it was physical early on. He was given away an early penalty for a high tackle, which looked like escalating, but fortunately didn't. And the Warriors with all the football early as Namu finds touch 29 out.
This is Platt. Widely regarded as the best front rower in the world. That opinion mightn't be shared, though, by Australians who believe Glenn Lazarus is the man that holds that pedestal. This is Jones. And this is Tuamavave again offloading for the 23, which is Gavin Hill playing against his old club tonight. Chance here for Auckland. They're in the centre of the ground and they've got plenty of personnel. And here's Jones around the corner. Oh, beautiful, beautiful pass. And Alexander, he gets the try. That is glorious stuff from the Kiwis.
It took all of 2 minutes. They had all the football, courtesy of a couple of penalties. But watch the Bulldog player slip. The run around. As we freeze play there, there's the Canterbury player who's fallen down. That left the hole, and that meant there was plenty of support out wide coming as play continues. Stacey Jones runs through the gap and finds on his outside a one-handed take from Greg Alexander. Beautiful combination between the inside backs, but the man slipping over in the defensive line, he helped.
Yeah, it was Glenn Hughes actually who slipped over. Tragedy for the Bulldogs early, but a couple of penalties against them. The head-high tackle, it's really cost them. And the man they call Brandy gets the first try for the Warriors. Andy Platter's already done some good work for the Warriors, hit the ball up 3 times very strongly. Dennis Betts heavily involved as well.
Doesn't Alexander make the most difficult things look easy? He's got beautiful hands, great acceleration, tremendous pass from Stacey Jones. And isn't he a find for the Auckland Warriors? A young player who's stamped himself in the Winfield Cup in 6 to 8 matches.
Well, one of the thrills that Gary Freeman got out of that match when Penrith visited Auckland was his domination over Stacey Jones on that occasion. So Gary holds him already in high regard. Here's Gavin Hill, 2 metres in. I think he's got it. Oh, has he got it? It's a beauty from the sideline. Auckland 6, Bulldogs nothing. Great atmosphere here. And gets just that little stronger rush of adrenaline when you're looking at a sudden death game, and I've got no doubts we're looking at a sudden death game here for Auckland. And I don't particularly, well, I do enjoy sudden death football more than anything else. It's just something different.
There's some tremendous games coming up, aren't there, Ray? We're doing the telecast tomorrow night from the Sydney Football Stadium, of course, of the Roosters up against Newcastle. Plenty to do with the top 8. It'll be from 8:30, and along with this match, a smorgasbord of sudden death stuff.
Alexander pilots it down for Silva to come away. That's the 10-metre line that he's on now.
And this is where Auckland's discipline must be good so as not to give away any penalties and give away any advantage they've attained so far.
The tackle has hurt Rod Silva. Look at this driving defence. Heavy stuff. I don't think it's any more than ironic that on the end of it was Dean Pay. It might have been a square up. Dimmick's kick rolling to the 20-metre line. A little bit of a fumble there by Jean Namu. And then Terry Lamb, as always, leading the chase, but Jim Dimmick putting him onside. The 5 is John Kerwin. I can't recall that we've televised a match that Kerwin's been in. Look at this defence from Canterbury now, from the Bulldogs. Driving stuff. Stephen Kearney. Young talent. That's Hill. Early days. 7th minute. Charge down. Charge down, and Kerwin hung a hand out. That could have been very, very close.
Both Richie Blackmore and Kerwin look like getting into a position to take advantage of this rebound. Brett Dallas there knocked out of the way. If they could have got control, not a lot of cover defence coming across.
Of course, this will be some luck for Auckland. They'll get the feed here. And away they go again through Kerwin.
The size of the man. Very, very fast. Now Tua Mavavi involved in his own brand of heroics last Sunday night. More than that, he went to the rescue of a car that I think was in an accident or broke into flames, one or the other, and Tua Mavavi actually rescued the passengers. This was after the St George game, from memory. Dennis Betts asked the question. He's bemused by the ruling of Eddie Ward.
Well, it's a bad mistake. 3rd tackle, not having control of the football. Betts is claiming that Simon Gillies had something to do with the ball coming loose. The one thing that the Auckland Warriors this year have had no trouble doing is scoring points. They're actually 4th on the list as the penalty is awarded here to the Bulldogs for the backline being too close to the scrum. They've scored over 500 points. They've got the leading try scorer in Sean Hoppy. And both Phil Blake and Tia Rapati well up in that list as well.
John Timu finding the line. 42 out now from the Auckland line. Auckland getting a try. If you didn't join us at the opening, you might have missed it. The match was only 2 minutes old when Jones ran into a gap, an unfortunate gap for the Bulldogs, and he gave a pass for Alexander to wrap it up one-handed and put it down. Now Dimmick, oh! Andy Platt was waiting, hit him with a big shoulder. Hetherington bets over the top, inside the 30-metre line, and this is Britt. He commands the respect of three. Fifth tackle, 6-0 down. Bulldogs attacking. Lamb's kick might be a bit full. Oh, taken well by Halligan. Lamb is with it. Silva across from Polomauta, through Pay. Now from Ralph, and it's gone on for Gillies. Desperate stuff by the blue and whites. And Polomauta, he's banged down.
Desperate stuff by the blue and whites and desperate defence by the Auckland Warriors. They held on just there. There's a pass, went astray in the end. Some great defence. Great defence by Auckland. There's some good defence by Pay.
Good work here from Halligan, knowing it's the last tackle. He had to keep the ball alive. Looked like he may have even knocked on, but he scraped it out the back, and plenty of hands looking to keep it alive to create the overlap. They did well, the Warriors. They scrambled very effectively.
Betts, short passing. Silva, spectacular take. Outside his own 30-metre line now. Dallas, that left knee heavily strapped following the injury he suffered in the test. Terry Lamb. The 11 is Robert Ralph. Just on their own side of the halfway, the Sydney Bulldogs trailing by a converted try, and Dean Pay. A penalty goes to the Bulldogs. And I get the ruling from Eddie Ward that the markers were not directly behind one another. Tap to be taken on that 40-metre line. Darren Britt. Dean Pay, I get the impression, Paul, is relishing this. There's plenty of heavy hitting, and he loves that.
Well, the two number 10s are both having big games. Andy Platt, every time Pay's got the ball, Platt is there to meet him.
Long ball from Polomauta, finding Lamb. Silva cut out, Timu with it. Timu met and pulled down by Dean Bell. Just inside the 30-metre line now.
They created an overlap there, 3-on-2, but they didn't capitalise. Darren Britt nearly gets through the front line. Strong stuff here in the forwards.
Dimmick calling for it. He's with it. The kick neatly over the heads, and Kerwin turned around, takes it into touch. Canterbury will get it back.
Kerwin shakes his head to his teammates, saying he had no other choice. Jim Dimmick, pinpoint accuracy. The ball bounced back in the field of play. That helped the Bulldogs' cause. Kerwin, he wasn't taking any risk.
Looked like a bit of rugby there, a bit of rah-rah. Here's the overlap which was created, which Peter spoke about. Glenn Hughes running into a gap there, and out wide there, I think it's Halligan, was unmarked.
Well, why Hughes came back on the angle, I don't know. All he had to do was run the same angle as a ball carrier, and it was 2-on-1.
Gavin Hill has left the field. We're told that's a blood bin. 29 goes on. That is Haitro Okasini. You won't miss him for obvious reasons. I saw Craig Polomauta massaging one of his shoulders. He might have a tender right shoulder, I think. That's Glenn Hughes, centre of the ground, 12 metres out. In the side for McCracken. Now the 12 is Gillies. And he's lost it. It'll be a penalty, it is. Penalty goes to the Bulldogs. Now they should take the 2.
Well, that is probably the right decision, but they have got the Warriors under all sorts of pressure. But the Bulldogs are a team with one of the top 3 goal kickers in their team. The man who eats these up. Penalty coming for the stripping of the football. Hard to tell from that angle. I think the Warriors might breathe a big sigh here, because they weren't under a great deal of pressure. Something like 14 or 18 tackles against them on their line. Jason Hetherington there Plenty of work in dummy half for him.
He's furnished into a very fine dummy half. Jason Hetherington, a former 5/8 from memory with the Gold Coast Club. Here's Daryl Halligan now. And he puts it straight between the uprights, as you would expect. So 6 points to 2 is the score. Friday Night Rugby League, Auckland leading the Bulldogs. Auckland restart. Still 4 points in front. That is Gillies for the Bulldogs, put down inside the 20-metre line. John Money, I guess the last thing he said to the team would be, don't come back with any petrol in the tank because we won't need it after tonight if we get beaten.
Well, there's plenty of feeling out there. Robert Ralph just got smashed by Okasini. He played the football and took 5 or 6 steps towards him. I don't know what he was going to do. I don't think it scared Big Hytro. As the kick goes in, Gene Namu having to cover some territory for Pickerel.
He's having an unhappy night, and Ward has pinged him for a knock on.
Oh,
he won't be happy, I don't think. He's got up and played it.
Well, quickly to the naked eye, it looked like it had gone backwards. Let's see if it's propelled towards the opponent's goal line. It's gone backwards. It's not a knock on.
That's an unbelievable decision. Ward was dead set 30 or 40 metres away, and this may cost the Warriors.
So the Bulldogs now, Timu. Oh, Hughes stands, Timu runs around him, Halligan's there, Lamb is backing him up on the outside. Halligan 10 metres out from the line. This is Dean Pay. There's the try line. It's Hytro taking him to ground with Stephen Kearney. Polomauta. Gillies. Chance. Picked up by Dimmick. Good quick hands. Polomauta takes a hammering.
Yes, and Ward has found a knock on. I think you might find it's in there from one of the Bulldogs forwards. Gillies or Dimmick. Here's the inside ball. Here it is here. He's found Dimmick in trying to scoop that football up. Ward claimed he knocked it on.
It was a very good tackle there from John Kerwin, ball and all. He didn't know that play had been pulled up.
And a great tackle on the far side by Alexander, who was confronted by both Halligan and Lamb.
Bulldogs with a big push. They might get it. It's a penalty. Tuamavavi penalised for breaking prior to the ball coming out. Little embracement there from Tuamavavi and Gillies. See, this ball hadn't come from the scrum, and that means the lock has to keep his head in there until at least it comes out behind his second row.
Well, I think it did that, but the scrum was screwed and he was deemed to be offside. Is that right, Rams? Yeah. Go, Brett.
Dallas.
Son.
Hetherington now. Cross and away from Polomauta. The arms of Simon Gillies. And another penalty. Eddie Ward, his patience might be running fairly thin. I've got to say that Auckland have been menacing in their tackles, and the aftermath of the tackle, there's been a lot of hands in the play of the ball. Dean Pay earlier, I was going to make a comment that the ball got some assistance when Pay almost lost it, and now Auckland have given the Bulldogs 2 points.
Yeah, I don't think Greg Alexander has any argument there. He had his hand down around where the ball was, right in front of the referee. Presents 2 points to Daryl Halligan, so we'll have a 6-4 ball game.
They're not showing a great deal of mouse, though, are they, if they're going to give penalties against Halligan? Not right in front, thank you. Not right in front against this man. He's the Robin Hood of rugby league goal kickers.
Probably a little bit frustrating for the Auckland Warriors. when you consider that the play was only down that end of the field with the Bulldogs in possession because of that call against Gene Namu.
Some big hits out there, Steve.
Yeah, it's certainly been an entertaining game. John Maney, talking to him before the match, he said their biggest problem last week was their marker defence. St George made far too many breaks from dummy half. There's a few gaps just appearing there, just behind the ruck now.
Well, is that a play the ball? Was it knocked down by the marker? Did Simon Gillies rake it back with his foot? Just outside the 20-metre line now. Bulldogs with Britt. Here's that play the ball. They're all over the place. There's no play the ball there at all. Now, who do you penalise? Dimmick. Now for Terry Lamb. His kick turning Namu around. Let's hope Gene has more luck this time. He's had, well, he's having a bumbling night back there. You see, the moment he puts his hands out and doesn't take it cleanly, he's deemed to have played at the ball. Everybody, even though they might be offside, are automatically onside. Dean Bell takes a heavy hit over the top from Payne. I said it earlier, he's loving it, Dean. He loves this stuff. Platt. Watch him. Bang over the top shoulder.
The amazing thing about Dean Pay is that in comparison to plenty of forwards running around the Winfield Cup, there's not much of him. Oh, well, there's one off the side of the boot, so the Warriors...
No, he's come up with some good fortune. His head's gone down like a beaten favourite. It's all right, Greg. Look up. It's okay, son.
Oh, it's an easy way to pick up 15 or 20 metres.
That's a freak.
Poor old Brandy. He was thinking about a scrum 30 metres out from his own line with their loose head and feet.
One of Fatty's 9-irons.
Today it was.
Silver, 40 metres out from his own line. Spare us, please, from that. Badger golf will become very boring. 2 metres their own side of the halfway. The Bulldogs go across for Polamatta to try and put Dimmick up a corridor in the centre. And now they're the same distance into their opposition territory. This is Dean Pay one more time. Busy night. 42 metres away from the Auckland line from Polamatta. They go across to Lamb, and Lamb in behind Kerwin. The leap of the ball, battered down by Kerwin. Dallas, he's got a chance. No, it's a penalty. A penalty has been given to Auckland.
Yes, Ward claiming an Auckland player was held out of the play here. Dallas steaming through for this football, onside. Now, who is held out? Is he claiming that Dallas took Kerwin out of it? You're allowed to...
No, it's a good call.
Good call, yeah.
He touched the player before the ball was down towards John Kerr.
Aren't you allowed to shoulder him out or something? Did I ever play this game?
No, you can. In a contest for the football, two players in pursuit of the football can use their hips and their shoulders to,
but not their arms, that's right.
if you like, joust with each other. But you can't push in the back, Fatty. Here it is again. I tell you what, if it's a push in the back, it's a feeble push.
That's right. I thought it was more of a grab.
Who are you voting for?
Oh, look, I never chased anyone anyway, but there's some action on the football field. Touchies come in. Dimmick's being called out. Eddie Ward's got his hands full here tonight. Let me tell you, there's plenty of spite in this match. It's all happening. Carney goes in, and Dimmick got him right around the neck. And went on with it.
Now Jones is coming off and Blake is going on for Auckland. Stacey Jones laid on that first try for his club with the assistance of Glenn Hughes losing his footing. But Blake is on. Match is 22 minutes old. The heavy stuff.
Simon Gillies really blowing up that Andy Platt had run with his elbow up as the second man ball to Chuma Barbe is well read by the Bulldog defence.
The soften up is over, one might think, although they're still hitting hard. Great time to put Blake into the game. Oh, that's deliberately forward. Well, how that doesn't bring a penalty is beyond me.
That's got to be one of the worst passes I've ever seen anyone throw on a football field. Look at this. Here's that ball there. It's gone a metre forward.
Come on, if that's not a penalty.
It was an ordinary 10-metre defence too. He had them back about 6 metres, and unless the referee gets them well and truly apart, we're going to continue to have problems here. There's Alexander wrapping up Terry Lamb. He's been very strong tonight, Greg Alexander. And Lamb milking a penalty doesn't work.
Another example of players having trouble with the traction out there tonight. This is Darren Britt, and that's the 30-metre line underneath him. On the Michael Cronin stand side of the ground. Match coming to you from Parramatta Stadium. Looked upon by many as the best league ground in Sydney. Ginamu comes back. That is Hughes and Timu, the centres. 6-4 to Auckland. Try after 2 minutes, scored by Alexander. This is Namu. An ordinary night with his hands. Kerwin a dummy half, often through Blake for Okasini. And Okasini is just into Bulldogs territory as Eru runs around, bets, and then finds a second man play with Tua Mavave. Now they're 43 metres out from the line, again from Eru. Chiming in Alexander. Kearney. Blake kicking out of dummy half. Beautiful kick. Not much to work in. It was a narrow corridor, and Blake was still able to punch it some 30 metres down the ground.
Yeah, great kick by Phil Blake. If you were to say any team's got an advantage on the bench tonight, it would be Auckland with Phil Blake. Good interchange player these days, so it seems, for the Auckland Warriors.
Been brought into the game fairly early, hasn't he? Stacey Jones involved, as Ray pointed out, in the first try, and there's nothing wrong with him, so it's an interchange. There's no injury problem at all.
I just noticed Steve Folkes, the Bulldogs trainer, called Eddie Ward across. He was appealing for a blood bin for Glenn Hughes, and Eddie Ward knocked him back. There's Steve Folkes, former Bulldogs champion second rower. He's now the head trainer. Namu. This is Blackmore. And a big first test for New Zealand, and then missed the remaining 2. They go quickly through, and Bill puts it down. Timu is with it. Good field position for the Sydney Bulldogs as Robert Ralph was put down 40 metres out from the Auckland line. Now they work on the blind side. Now they change their mind. Dimmick looking to unload, but Alexander positioned himself so that he thought twice about it. Terry Lamb. 27 for the Bulldogs is Stephen Price.
As he's come on for Glenn Hughes, so there'll be a swap around in the lineup for the Bulldogs as Dean Pay ducks his head, tries to get the ball away, cleaned up by Greg. No, in fact, it's Stephen Kearney, the big fella in there, who's been ruled to have knocked on.
Well, Pay offloaded this football, and the touch has given him the call. And here it is. Is there a knock on here by Kearney?
He knocked it out.
Yep.
He knocked it out, Kearney, and it's the right ruling, and Canterbury get the feed. They win the scrum. Silva into his back line. He was slowed up a little bit early in the game, Rod Silva. Took a heavy tackle, as Ralph did then from Tua Mavave. Now Britt with the roll on, and they're inside the 20-metre line. Kearney underneath, Okasini the top, Hetherington a dummy half, Polomauta inside ball, Pay is with it. Pay looking on his right, looking for runners. Hetherington there, they're coming right. Polomauta, Lamb, and now Price! That tackle from Alexander saved a try. Last tackle, Timu. Long ball. Dimmick rolls it in behind them. Hoppy is there and batted over the line, I thought, by Halligan. No. Ward has seen it differently.
Well, Greg Alexander needed to make this tackle because I think it would have been his fault if the try had been scored. The last play on the end there, Sean Hoppy did get a touch. You see here Greg Alexander coming in, getting caught in no man's land, and that allowed Stephen Price to get outside him. So it was pretty important that he made up for an error in judgment.
We go back down the ground with the line dropout from the Warriors. Brett Dallas brings it back. Took some speed off and then put it back on. Just inside the 30-metre line. Hetherington goes for a dummy half scamper. Reaches the 20-metre line. Testing out the marker defence, where the weakness was apparently last Sunday. Dean Pay, one of many weaknesses, one would think. That'll be a penalty to Warriors. He had a marker for mine.
Yes, I think the marker got there just in the nick of time. It's always a very grey area, this play, the ball area. The Pay goes down on the tackle. The marker comes from behind to stand in front of him there. I think he got there in time, Carney.
Ocasini. Last time we saw him, I think, was here at Parramatta Stadium. And I remember him with that, another big hit, the head down, like Mario Fennick. Ocasini uses it as a bumper bar. This is Dennis Betts, one of the great players. Now a little dart away by Blake. It's the time in the match that you've got to be very keen, very strict on blokes like Blake. Here's Namu! They're going to score! Tony! Tony! He scores for Auckland.
What a great piece of play by Gene Namu. Blake set it up with that darting run. He got them 10 or 12. A good quick play, the ball, and away it went. Big area in behind the defence there of the Bulldogs. Carney had to stay on side. Nice pass. Ward right in line with that. And Carney went all the way.
It's a good play against the Bulldogs because both of their halves tend to play up their line for long periods. Terry Lamb and Craig Polamander like the defensive aspect of the game. They're always up there. So there's a lot of space in behind. And Kearney did a great job to be there. Normally a back rower. He's gone up into the front row. He's very mobile. One of the fine young players who I think has already captained his country.
You're not wrong there. You've got to me, fat man. You've been calling him Carney all night, so I've switched and gone with you.
But it's a beautiful piece of play. Now the pass, there might be some question mark over it, but Eddie Ward was travelling up there with the boys. Had a good view of it. But the Phil Blake dart was a beauty, wasn't it? Where he, and as you said, Rab, you've hit the nail on the head, champion. You said right time to come into the game, and he got that 10. Look, the Bulldogs, their forwards are starting to get tired. It's been a very rugged first half.
Flattering rap there from the State of Origin, Coach.
Turn it up, you thanks.
Thank you, Coach. Now, I must say I'm a little bit pleased in many ways that Gene Namu played the part that he did in the try, because he's had an unhappy night. He bangs over the goal, and the Warriors lead by 12-4, 9 minutes from the break. Welcome back. 9 network coverage exclusive across Australia of Friday Night Football. Okosini comes back at them. The game needs players like Hytro. Andy Platt wanting the ball on the right. He takes it ahead. Let's go for a sideline comment for Steve Roach.
Yeah, that's a man I was going to talk about. How important is he if the Warriors do make the semi-finals? First man off the ruck, and he's done a mountain of defence in this first half. He's been outstanding.
I actually think that the Bulldogs have played into the Auckland Warriors' hands to some extent. The more physical the game, the more the Warriors like it. I think the Bulldogs' best chances are to get on the fringe of the ruck through the skill and creativity of the likes of Dimmick and Lamb. That's a great chase there. Tremendous kick and chase. Namu getting down there, making the tackle 2 metres out. They've got to start playing a little bit wider, the Bulldogs. Put some pressure on the back line.
Good chase there by the Warriors on replay. Come back 12 metres out from their own line. A player in the play the ball, made no attempt to move. It's a penalty. Once they interfere with the play the ball, even if they're lying motionless, the referee has an obligation to, in that situation, blow the whistle. John Timu will come and find the line. Will he find the line? Kerwin! Another mistake by the Bulldogs.
They don't come any worse than that mistake, let me tell you.
Now Blake. 23 out from the line. Bulldogs will want to be careful. Auckland, if they can snatch another try in front of the break, it might be an unassailable lead. Kearney. 22 out, centre of the ground. This is where they wanted to be. Dennis Betts. Good tackle that. Often takes more than one to bring Dennis Betts to ground. Namu peppers them with a bomb. Chance. Down and off Canterbury, then off Auckland. And a penalty has been given. Or is it turnover?
Turnover.
Dallas, the head, rocks back on the shoulders as he's hit by Kerwin. Lamb. Now it's a knock on. I think he's going to rule he gave it up cold. He has.
Yeah, well, Terry Lamb obviously trying to get a quick play of the ball here. The referee has seen it as a knock on. Terry claiming he put the ball on the ground so that he could get to his feet to rake it back. And the law being laid down by referee Eddie Ward.
Because Terry got sent off, I think, here this season, was it not?
So he puts his down deliberately. He does lose it in putting it down, so I think Eddie Ward's come up with the right decision.
So Auckland again with a golden opportunity. Namu, and here's Hoppy. Sean Hoppy is 7 metres out from the line. Personnel going left, right, and every which way. Tuamavavi, Eru, Alexander, Namu, and now Betts. 10-metre line.
Cut out pass there from Gene Namu, and it was the third try for the Warriors.
Betts is injured. Kearney still 6 metres out. Be a good trick if the Bulldogs can hold them out. Alexander, the pass, picked up off the feet by Blake, and now Hoppy, down and up again, keeps it in play through Platt, and then from Hill, back and across for Namu, and Namu loses the ball to Ralph.
Oh no, he's lost the ball as well.
Well, what about that? Ralph is entitled to be dirty on himself there, knocking the ball on just when they'd weathered the storm. The stray pass here from Namu, and what's this? Bang.
His teammates aren't going to be real happy with him either.
So inside 4 minutes to the break. Blake at half back. It's been an attempt to screw the scrum by one or the other. Not so that time. Blake is 15 out. Now from Alexander. Namu comes in from the back, spirals out of a tackle, met by Dean Pay, put down with Britt. And problems for Namu. Eru. 23 is Hill. Just inside the 10-metre line. Still injured is Namu. Eru. 27 is Blake. Blake, he'll win it. He'll win it. He nails it for mine. Is he going to give it? Yes, he is. Phil Blake scores a try that he made almost commonplace when he was an outstanding youngster for Manly.
Phil Blake special, this, Rabs. Seen him do this hundreds of times. Look at this. He sees the Silvers right behind the play of the ball area. He sees the space. Does he get it down? You can't tell from that shot, but the in-goal touch does right in line with it.
He's been around forever, Phil Blake, but there's still plenty of speed in the legs, and Rod Silver just took it a little bit easy going across. Let's have a look if there's downward pressure there. I
got my doubts.
Yeah, but, the in-goal judge was there, and he had a pretty good view as well. Dean Pay, a wicked cut up around the eye area. It's not the way that he would like to go to half-time, and well, it's one of those line ball decisions. The touch charge and the referee were in good position to adjudicate.
Some people tend to get confused with the placement of the ball for tries. All that is required is for downward pressure. It doesn't mean you've got to have control of the football. I often hear people talk about having control of the football. All that is required is downward pressure.
What about with the forearm? Because that looked
There's
to
no
me,
drama,
it looked like
as long as it's downward
he
pressure.
might have got his forearm on the football. And anyway, the in-goal judge.
You could land on it with your chest. You could have it between your breasts, if you like, as long as it's downward pressure. Trying to invent problems here.
Not much space between fatties.
That's for sure. Tell you what, particularly if he's wearing his cross your heart. He made the cross your heart famous. Now the kick is unsuccessful. 16-4.
Well, what a handy lead for Auckland as they come into the half-time break. Little Blakey, he's done this at Manly, Souths, North Sydney. Where else was he? Somewhere else? Canberra, St George.
Jeez, he has been around.
He has been around, hasn't he? And now in his 6th Winfield Cup club, and he's still doing it for them.
Had more starts than our Oni. Daryl Halligan restarting what will be the last session before half-time. Actually, that siren will be a merciful sound for Chris Anderson. Get hold of his players and get them together. Dean Bell has tackled, the siren has sounded. Well, I understand if you follow the Sydney Bulldogs, it was a nightmare of 40 minutes, but it was certainly entertaining. Auckland fighting for survival. Looking good. 16-4, they lead at the break. Well, they certainly haven't had as much work to do as the Bulldogs. The total tackle count 121 for the Sydney side and 98 for the Kiwis. Okasini is on, Betts is off as we go into the second half with Dimmick sending young Price back. I take it that Glenn Hughes is still off as well, now that I see young Price is still there. Steve Roach will give us some details on that as we go down to him in a moment. First set of 6, second half on a big weekend of rugby league on 9. This is Mitch Newton. Tomorrow night, Peter's already told you, Newcastle and the Roosters, another, I'm loath to use the word crunch because they did it to death last night on the footy show here in Sydney. But it is a crunch game, and then on Sunday, Manly and Penrith. The ball rolled in behind the Warriors, but Hoppy.
Oh, great ball.
Well, probably more than a great ball, an unbelievable ball, really. Played by Blake. And now winger from the far side of the ground. Okasini sending Andy Platt ahead. 25 out from the line. Of course, if they score next, that could well be domino. 23 is Gavin Hill. Tends to take it up and submit to the tackle without looking for support too often, Gavin. This is Dallas. Chase is keen. You can see it. They're exuding the enthusiasm of a team that knows they've got to win.
Well, there wasn't much on there, and you probably say, well, it wasn't a very good kick, but what it's done, again, is reinforced in the Bulldogs' defence mind that the little kick is on against them. So all of a sudden, they can't be rushing up, putting a lot of pressure on. It may work in the Auckland Warriors' favour that their ball players will just get that little bit extra time and space.
Newton now asked to play it. 35 away from his line. It goes through 3 sets of hands. Polomauta. The pass off Dallas's arm, I thought, went backwards, but it's been ruled knocked on.
Well, there was the hole that Chris Anderson would have been looking for after half-time. They created the overlap once again, mainly through some, matter of fact, that the Auckland Warriors didn't number off properly, but a poor pass. Polomauta was virtually into the gap. Dallas could have been away, but a shocker.
Maybe so, but was it knocked on? Again is the question. Kerwin comes off the left flank. Centre of the ground. 10 metres into Bulldogs area. Turned inside by Tua Mavavi. Wakasini in 29. 16-4 the score. Warriors in front. That's the 30-metre line, just in front of them as they work onto it. And from Jones, who's back on. Alexander is put away. It would seem that John Mooney is just going to use Phil Blake as a shock weapon. Is Blake still there? Yes, he is.
Yeah, Gene Namu's the man off as Eru made a good surge up the middle of the ruck. That's now the last.
Across now for Jones. They say put it in the air, but he goes for the drop goal. He fools everybody and takes a point.
Yeah, good move there by Auckland. They had a couple of cracks at in the Canterbury 20-metre zone, and Stacey Jones has got the wide angle, and it's a dusty-looking droppy, but it just sneaks over.
It doesn't matter what they look like or how they get over, as long as they do, and the 13-point margin now means that the Bulldogs need to score 3 times to get back in front in this game. So psychologically, another blow landed by the Warriors, and the task just that little bit tougher for the Blue and Whites.
Daryl Halligan restarts, and coming back is Gavin Hill. A dusty droppy, eh?
Just a comment on John Kerwin. He was on the footy show last night, spoke very well. He's a legend in the game of rugby union over there. I think if he can maintain his pace as he gets around the 30-year mark, which he nearly is, then he'll be a great acquisition for the Warriors in the years to come.
Okasini, 32 metres out.
Done some good work here tonight.
Let's go down to Stephen to see what he's been able to find out at half-time.
Yeah, well, firstly, Dean Pace still getting sewn up there in the Canterbury dressing room. A bad eye cut for him. There's plenty of talk in the Bulldogs dressing room. Chris Anderson said, look, keep your aggression going. Start to put a couple of passes together. Try and work the Warriors around the field. He said the dummy half running is good. He said, but you've got to go with support. John Mooney for the Warriors. He is very proud of his players in the first half. They've come back after that defeat against St George last week. He mentioned on a number of occasions he didn't want to see the walkout. The crowd walked and left the Auckland Warriors last week. He wants his players to play with a lot of pride and get stuck into this game.
They're playing very aggressively, Steve, aren't they, the Warriors?
Yeah, I've been very impressed. I mean, they're going to cause some headaches as they get to the semi-finals, if they do get there, and on tonight's performance, they'll be hard to beat.
This is Newton. Bulldogs working it up towards halfway. Of course, people that don't follow the game all that closely are probably saying all the concern seems to be about Auckland and them making the quarters. Well, the Bulldogs have got a couple of relatively simple matches, one would think. As Dimmick rolls it in behind, and Blake knocks on! And another knock on by Halligan.
Phil Blake made the mistake here of trying to pick the ball up on the run when a dive would have been sufficient. I never played fullback, but no, didn't end him there. He just had a dive on the football, though, didn't he? That's right, yeah, and in fact, Polomauta couldn't clean up. Like it might have gone backwards to Halligan, but the referee didn't see it that way. Fortunately for the Bulldogs, there was no advantage. And Terry Lamb feeding the scrum now. Dimmick, a wide pass, picks up a couple of defenders and will earn his side a penalty, the ball being raked out.
So the Bulldogs get the penalty. Too late for the kick and goal, I think might be the decision. Although he's handed it to Halligan.
don't know whether it is too late, Ray.
No, well, 17-4. I suppose it's a matter of opinion.
I think it'd be quite important for them to get back within the 12-point margin. And there's a long way to go in this game. 2 converted tries, twinkling of an eye.
Well, quite obviously, Terry Lamb disagrees with you, Sterlo, because he's got the right man in the right place, but he opted not to use him. Halligan was 25 out directly in front, and Terry has gone for the 6. Let's see if he's right. Away to him, and then on for Dimmick. Now for Timu. Timu smothered to the ground by Alexander, whose attack has been quite brilliant, but his defence has been strong. Lamb, there's a chance out wide, and Gillies takes the tackle.
And a great tackle by Dean Bell, snuffed out the Canterbury attack.
They go back to the right. It's with Dimmick, and Dimmick probes, and Timu got a bad pass. That took the zest out of the attack. Timu will play it 10 metres out. Dallas's pass is ordinary. Lamb under pressure got a good kick in. That came off one Canterbury player down to, I thought, another. It's a turnover. I wouldn't have been surprised had there been a penalty, but he's ruled the breach on the last tackle and ordered the turnover.
Yeah, big Mitch Newton flying there, knocked on. There's Stacey Jones. Shrugs off a tackler. Big 28 flying, the hand there went down, touched the leg of Halligan.
Ocassini, meantime, has got some problems. Now, Stephen Kearney, who scored one of the Auckland tries. Eru, a dart away from dummy half, and they are good meters. Now they've got more dummy halves than they know what to do with. Stacey Jones, offered it left, offered it right, took it to ground. Back for the kick from Alexander. Halligan on a long run back into the in goal. Hoppy's coming down quickly. Halligan gets it back.
A nice knee, that accidental knee from Dean Bell. He did well, Halligan, to get up and play the ball as quickly as he did, as Dimmick again finds himself confronted by 3 defenders. Just have a look at Dean Bell come in there, collect him in the side with the knee, completely accidental.
Timu. Britt, short passing. And now on the bounce, Dallas trying to get him into a space down the right. Dean Pay, running repairs completed. Five tackles now have gone, with Hetherington kicking out of dummy half. Blake is back. Scored a try just in front of half-time. Controversial try. Some people say that he didn't touch down. This is Hoppy. Now Kerwin, the wingers. One and then the other. Lamb making the tackle. Cassini working at close quarters with Kearney.
I think that's the first pass I've seen Hytro throw this year.
Stacey Jones. Silver comes up. Jones gets another kick in. Halligan's in a race for the ball and comes up with it.
Well, a miracle take there by Halligan. There were 2 Auckland players chasing the ball as it goes through Lamb, looking for some space out wide. Nice tackle by Hill. Good kick by Stacey Jones. There it was there. And Halligan just gets in between them. Got the split.
Near the halfway line. Newton. Ball goes loose.
Well, again, is that a knock-on? I believe that the pass was thrown backwards and then it bounced forwards, and that's okay.
I think this has come off an Auckland bum or something, Pete. Watch this as it goes there. It's come off an Auckland hand.
Well, it doesn't matter what it came off. What Peter's saying is right. The ball was lost backwards, bounces on a point and then rolls forward. That is not a knock-on. This is Blackmore. It aggravates you, doesn't it?
Very much so, Ray. It's getting like touch football out there. Anything that's dropped is pulled up, and that's not rugby league.
12 is Tuamavavu. Eru appeals to the referee. It's Andy Platt on the 40-metre line. 17-4. Auckland in front, looking good. They play Canberra next Friday.
He's on fire, Hydro.
That's the second.
2 passes in 2 minutes.
Eru looks for his man who played the ball to stay alive. Kearney on through Hill, out wide to Mavave. Blackmore, haven't seen much of him with the ball in his hands. And here he is, the big man, trying to promote the left winger. The man on camera is an outstanding centre, Richard Blackmore.
It's come off a Bulldogs player. I think you'll find Terry Lamb getting in between Blackmore and the intended receiver. Goes off the hand of Barr into touch. So the pressure continues.
The 53rd minute coming up. Auckland winning the scrum. Kerwin off the left wing, taking the first play to the centre of the ground. And Alexander now looks for Tuamavave. And this is Hill. Laugh if you like, my boys.
No, we're with you, Raz. Laughing with you, Raz.
Yes, I can imagine. 29 is Okasini. Finish up choking yourself on some of these. Away now from Alexander. Jones stands and they come down on him. And Jones appeals. He's lost it. Ralph not allowed to play it.
Well, he lost the football, then compounded the error by knocking down the Bulldogs player with the football. So it's let Canterbury off the hook.
The next points to be scored in this game, so important. The Warriors get the next points, I think it's as good as over. If the Bulldogs will be the next to score, then all of a sudden they're back in it and will be lifted by that as well.
To the halfway line. Darren Britt, 17. Is Tiwa. This is Dimmock, almost in the centre of the ground. Hetherington round the back of two players for Ralph. Seen, and they haven't had a lot of opportunities, I understand that, but we haven't seen a lot of clean backline play from the Bulldogs. Now from Lamb, along for Dimmock, and then high into the in goal. The bounce, Price is coming quickly. Oh, Blake was favoured by the bounce.
Oh, he's a freak, Phil Blake. He couldn't get to it on the full. It's Kerwin. Takes a heavy tackle from Terry Lamb, couldn't get there.
He's a freak. He had nothing to do with the bounce.
What we didn't realise, Ray, was that he actually meant to do that.
Oh,
it was going to make it much easier to get back into the field of play by allowing it to bounce 3 times.
Cassini comes off. Taiwa has gone on. Question mark on the dummy half. Was there a knock on? Kearney plays it. They go back for Alexander to clear it. Bounce of the ball down to the 30-metre line, close to the sideline. Silva is with it. Chases on. Taiwa scored a magnificent try in the opening round against Brisbane at Ericsson. Oh, John Timu tried to hurdle Gavin Hill, and Hill is injured. Hill clutches at his arm. And then Ralph turns it back for Hetherington. Evasive work to the halfway line. Centre of the park. In front of one of the better crowds for the Bulldogs this year. Britt unloads. Lamb scoops it away. Dimmock juggles. Wide for Polomauta. Pulled down by Alexander. It's been a feature of his game tonight. He's been all over the park. He's covered defence. Lamb put away, bounces up, Hetherington, and again Alexander.
It's as good as it gets.
Dimmock to the air. I fancy the runners are offside, and he's given the penalty.
Good judge, Raps. John Kerwin took that with ease, but he's got the Bulldogs who being inside the 10 metres or offside. Not too much in it, but the referee Ward, I think he's handled this game all right tonight. Sure, he's made a few mistakes, I think.
What about
knock-ons and whatever?
The enthusiasm of Greg Alexander. He makes that tackle on Terry Lamb, gets up, makes that one on Hetherington. That's after he's made maybe a try saver on the far side when the front line was punctured wide out by the Bulldogs.
Time running out. 23 on the clock. Lost by Hill. You guys were doing your sums earlier in the night. I've still got a question mark on 24 being of any use to you.
24 won't get you anywhere, Raz, but 26 will.
That means they've got to beat Canberra or Brisbane. Is that what you're saying?
As we said before the game, I think that Auckland have got to win all 3 games because I believe that Saints and North will both finish on 26 along with possibly Auckland. And Auckland's for and against is not too good.
Darren Brett.
Not too very good.
5 metres out from the line. Across to Lamb and then on for Dimmick. Timu offered him a decoy. Polomouta leaps high. Playing out in the centres. And then Dimmick slammed into the ground. Dallas's pass. Through Pay. Timu. Handoff from Silva to Lamb. Lamb holds it back. Robert Ralph is snuffed out by Tormavave. Chance on the blind side. Yes! More than a chance. It's a try.
Well, a great ball there from Mitch Newton has put Halligan in. And I don't know whether the Auckland defence read this very well. Coming back the blind side, Mitch Newton, as we freeze it there, you can see this player, Sean Hoppy, has come in, well, the outside man, maybe it's not Hoppy, but whoever it is, it's opened up the corridor as play continues. Tried to knock the ball down, and Daryl Halligan had an easy run to the line. In fact, it's Taiwa. Very poor reading, because they had plenty of numbers there, and he had 2 attackers coming that side, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Sean Hoppy, the man.
Hoppy.
Sean Hoppy, the man who went for an intercept, Shoppy. But that's very ordinary defence here by Auckland. They've done so well, you know, for 60 minutes of this match. And just there, it all goes astray.
Halligan now. 5 metres in.
It's easier to say, Shoppy.
And Darrell has missed it. 17-8. That would have been handy. Nearly an hour gone in Friday night football. (17-8). Welcome back. Nine's exclusive coverage of the Auckland Sydney Bulldogs game. The Bulldogs in some trouble. Stephen Price. Dean Pay. Nasty gash has been sewn up. He was probably the best of the Bulldogs prior to half-time. This is Britt, short pass. Ralph hands it on. Polomouta. Strong little fellow, Craig Polomouta. And Stacey Jones knows that right now. Here's the halfway line in front of them. Dean Pay did well. Dimmick did better. Now Silva goes for the accelerator. He won't make it. Pulled down. Tries to get a pass off. Desperate stuff. Can they make it, the Bulldogs? Timo, held by Kerwin. Silva rocketed into an opening. Lamb on, Dimmick kicks. This'll be, no! He was able to get back Stacey Jones. I thought he had picked it out beautifully for Brett Dallas. Now the Bulldogs, they start to hammer the Warriors. Blackmore. Look at this run from Blackmore.
What a great run. Under all sorts of pressure on their own line, the Warriors, and that's got them out of trouble, let me tell you.
This is Sean Hoppy. Coaching is on in 26 for the Warriors. Gavin Hill is off. 17-8. Warriors with 18 to go as Alexander rolls it down into the arms of Silva. And the Warriors, that chase is great.
Beautiful tackle by Chiumavave.
Tackle, can't he?
He's been an unsung hero tonight. He's done a lot of great stuff. Got the profile of some of the other players in the side as Dallas, winger to winger there.
Things aren't looking too good for Auckland, you know. The Bulldogs are starting to come good and finding plenty of gaps. Mitch Newton popped a great ball before for Silva. He took a fantastic Phil Blake tackle to bring him down. And John Kerwin did some good work as well as Lamb goes wide.
Dimmock's pass. And John Timu, I think, had a hand on it and was lying across the line.
Not quite sure what John Timu was trying to do there. Jim Dimmock catching and passing in the one motion over the head. Now he's got to try and keep that in.
I think he suffered the same fate as a few other players, Peter. He lost his footing completely. It's just that surface moisture. Glenn Hughes will tell you about it, and so will several others. As Hoppy comes off his right wing and centralises play.
Dean Bell has moved to lock for the Warriors. That's him now in the forwards, leading the way for his side.
Alexander. And then that was poaching, and Blake had it on the fingertips and lost it.
He had a very good game in second grade, did Billy Poaching. And a nice ball there to Phil Blake, who couldn't control it.
This was very close. Just never in control of it before he got smashed by Brett Dallas, who now has gone down with cramp in the back play. The Bulldogs trailing by 9. Dimmock. Been a great contest between Dimmock and Alexander as they continue in the role of playmaker. Two of the playmakers that are out there. Knock on. That one I'll agree with, and it's big Darren Britt, but it's the turnover. Kearney. 15 to go. Blackmore. Giant of a man. Andy Platt. Eru. Jones. Alexander. Taiwa. The 30-metre line, which Hoppy crosses now. Is down under the tackle of Dean Payne.
He always beats one man, doesn't he, Hoppy? Sometimes 2 and 3, but he's great value for them.
Alexander runs one way, kicks the other. Jones gets a pass in. Lem scoops it off the ground. Halligan pushes it on. Dallas is with it.
And Robert Ralph still down injured in back play. Or no, it's actually Jim Dimmock. As Polamalu goes through.
Britt. Ralph loses it. Advantage. Everyone for Kerwin. Kerwin held just outside the 30-metre line. The Dogs have got another player down injured. Eru. Flat.
It's Darren Britt very slowly to his feet. So there's one man out of their defensive line, makes them vulnerable as Alexander calls at the blind. Can't create space.
Blake shrugs off one. Eru away from play, held by Hetherington. Now from poaching, Jones, inside the 10, here's poaching, and poaching, he gets the try, and he does the leap.
Well, Stacey Jones couldn't believe his luck. He's caught the football, was going to pass, looked up and saw a gap there which he took advantage of. The pass goes to Stacey Jones, we freeze it there, an enormous gap between these two Bulldog defenders. It was even bigger when he's caught the ball back here. He's gone straight through it, and he's found some support on the inside from poaching. Changes the direction of the attack, and that should wrap it up under the post. Stacey Jones, very quick play here, smart man, good speed off the mark.
Yeah, what it was, Darren Britt was slow to get back on side, and when he turned to go back up in the line, Stacey Jones is right on top of him, and then he fell over. And that was where the gap was created once again. And good backing up by poaching, as I said before, very impressive in reserve grade.
He's done the bunny hop.
And that just about wins them the game and keeps them alive in this great race for the top 8 we've got in the Winfield Cup this year.
They had some momentum going to the Bulldogs, didn't they? The mistake from Robert Relf only a couple of minutes ago. They could have kept play going and got down the other end.
Alexander converting, the try scored by Willie Poaching. Jared McCracken and other Bulldog supporters watch on. 23-8 after 68. Back at Parramatta Stadium. Thank you for joining us. And here's the try scorer, Willie Poaching. Confidence high, a spinning cassette. 22 metres away from the Auckland line.
I don't think we'll see Darren Britt out there too much longer as Sean Hoppy nearly gets through. Looks for some support. Again, as Paul Vorton pointed out, beat at least one defender. Platt now doing what he does best, taking on the defence.
Geez, had a great game, Andy Platt. Whenever there's been something needed, he's been there on hand to just run the ball up, get them a good 5 or 10 metres and get them set again. Very impressive front rower, isn't he? Blocker, Andy Platt.
Oh, mate, he's one of the best, along with Kevin Ward and Ben Lazarus.
Kearney. Alexander on the last. Silva back on his own line. And Blackmore comes down. Groan from the crowd, but Rod Silva appeared to fall into the tackle. Now Dallas wrapped up by Eru, and now Darren Britt leaves the field for the Bulldogs. Simon Gillies, is it? He's gone back on. 23-8. We took the start tonight on our footy tab. 11.5 was offered Auckland. People that assess the starts, and I don't envy their job, would have red faces. This is Polomouta.
A battle out there that I particularly enjoyed, and that's been the one between the hookers. As Terry Lamb kicks over towards Sean Hoppy's wing. Halligan arrives, can't take the ball, knocks on. Another mistake for the Bulldogs, and Greg Alexander looking to go wide straight away. Eru and Jason Hetherington have been very, very good tonight. Hetherington's been close to the Bulldogs' best performer. And Eru, I don't think there's many better dummy half runners in the game than this number 9.
I'd have him in Auckland's top 3 tonight, Pete. He's had a great game around the ruck.
Just reminding you of our very big weekend of rugby league. Tomorrow night, the Roosters versus Newcastle. 8:30 telecast time. Another most important game, that one. Sunday, Manly Penrith at Brookvale. And of course, Sydney viewers and Brisbane viewers as well. Of course, the footy show on Sunday at midday. The feast of rugby league. And we will keep it coming to you. Here's Poaching! Poaching! Inside! And Blake gets his second! Well, they are running over the top of them now. It's comprehensive.
It's a smash-up, that's what it is. The Warriors have really killed them tonight. They've played a great game of football. Here's poaching, a nice step, and he's got some pace too, off the mark. Away he went, Phil Blake backing up the specialist.
Well, Dr. Jekyll last week, Mr. Hyde, this performance, the Warriors, awful last week. Tonight, they've come back to their best. And really poaching, just showing what the Warriors have an abundance of. They've got big men who are mobile, good over the ground, and some tremendous support players, and none better out there than Phil Blake.
When you face that Auckland mascot, did you catch a look at him? Now, Alexander from right in front, no problem. 29-8.
Well, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it, how, as we see this, probably nearly their best try tonight. Really makes you wonder what happened last Sunday.
Well, I was just looking at the potted form in the race guide. It says, forget last run. You'd have to. Well, Brad Dallas is off now. There must be two of them, Peter.
Is that Warriors?
Yeah.
Well, they told me that last week they were right in it at half-time, 14-8, 2 tries all, and Gordon Tallis ran about 190 metres to score a try, beat the team twice, and that was it.
It's a big run.
What about poaching?
Oh, he's going great, isn't he? Tulavu's out there on the wing for the Bulldogs, but poaching.
I'll tell you what poaching did in reserve grade as well, kicked 7 from 7 from all over the park. So he seems to be quite a talented player.
I'm just looking at him running, walking around out there at the moment. I think he's still got to lose his baby fat. He's still growing. He's 22 stone now, isn't he? Look at him. As Alexander puts the kick way down the ground, and Silva brings it back. He's had some work tonight. Oh, embarrassing. Blackmore, a chance here for another try. They've scored 5. 6. Is it coming? Platt doesn't go round you. Now from Eru. The runaround is on with Jones and then linking up with Taiwa. And there's a forward pass being spotted. And Eru, his mouth, if you read what he said, probably was voicing the opinion of most.
I do love a run around, and we've seen more tonight from the Warriors than any other team this year. This one didn't work. It's a bit like the head wobble. When in doubt, head wobble. When nothing's on, put on the run around. Something will unfold.
Well, you're always giving people a run around.
15 out from the Bulldogs line. 12 is Gillies. We're inside the last 5. 5 tries to 1. I think the word comprehensive was the right one. Ralph. Paul made a comment earlier. He's talking about this great battle for the 8 in the 95 Winfield Cup. I was going to make the comment in return. The league can thank their lucky stars. It was an 8 for the first time this year. Imagine if it had been a 4. I know it was a 5, but had it been a 4, the interest would have been gone many, many weeks ago. Played by Hoppy on his own 20-metre line. That is Jones, who's played very, very well. Personally, I think Alexander's been the best. But we'll leave it to the experts for Ansett and $1,000 man of the match. 25 away. There's a Warrior down injured.
That's true. Mavavi down there as Andy Platt again takes the ball up. That's his 19th hit up, and they've all been damaging ones. Eru now taking advantage. He's been great all through the Warriors. They've had tremendous performers. Stacey Jones out of dummy half, kicking, finding touch. Comprehensive victory indeed for the Warriors tonight, and it puts them in a good frame of mind for next week.
Yeah, what a match that'll be. Auckland at home to the Canberra Raiders.
We're televising that match, of course.
Friday night, yes, in Auckland.
Crossing the Tasman to Auckland as Poaching tries to kick-start one of those calf muscles. Yes, Ericsson on Friday night, Auckland and Canberra. One of the games of the year. And made even more interesting by the fact, well, by the Paul Vaughton theory, the Vaughton theory. They've got to win every match.
Well, how well is St George going?
Well, they played the Crushers on Sunday. They could win by 100.
And they've done well, the Crushers, their first
I've
year.
had a good year.
I think
Good year.
they'll be competitive up there, but you couldn't believe that this side that we've watched tonight go around could get beaten by 30-odd points and have almost 50 scored against them.
What are the Bulldogs' feet? I don't think they've played poorly tonight. Their ball security's let them down. They've fallen apart a bit in the second half here, but that's only through turnover of possession.
Yeah, they were put on their heels early, as we saw, and they're not the side that we've seen take the minor premiership the last 2 years. Got a few problems still with their ball control, as Terry Lamb won't find any space in there. There's too many Auckland Warriors there. Poaching grabs the football. But they're just probably the biggest problem, I suppose, for the Bulldogs this year has been inconsistency. We haven't really seen them play well week in, week out.
Hoppy out to the 40-metre line. As I said at the top of the telecast tonight, there's a heavy contingent of Kiwis in at Parramatta Stadium. They love it when the Warriors are playing in Sydney. The streets of Bondi are vacant, they say, when the Warriors come to town. And lost. And a scramble pack it'll be, I would imagine, the last, as Poaching comes off for the Warriors. He's done his job, Willie Poaching. No, it's Tuamavave, in fact, the 12, who's come off. Poaching, nevertheless, has done his job as a replacement. Bit of work here to be done by Blake. Silver on Blake. John Mooney has got some magnificent depth on his bench. Kerwin. Now Bell. Inside the last 60 seconds. Away from Platt, and Okasini is there. 29-8. Last seconds, Alexander, chip and chase, and the Bulldogs clean it up. The referee calls time, and Auckland have survived the third last hurdle. 1 down, 2 to go. 29-8. They've defeated Sydney's Bulldogs in front of probably one of their better crowds of the year.